day I chose not to let anything win but my drive to get me to the top.
Frank Lee made the beat.
What it do, KTTV? This is KT, and I'm coming at you live with another episode of the Daily K Podcast. And on today's episode, I have former educator, former administrator, and CEO of ESGI Software, Mr. Jim Bowler. How you doing today, Mr. Bowler?
Great. Well, the way you say it, it makes it sound very impressive. I like that introduction.
Hey, look, man, I couldn't say it if it wasn't true. So congratulations to you, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, I wanted to say thank you for taking a few minutes out of the busy schedule to come back and talk about the conference, the TeachCon, but also just talk about some things that you have going on at ESGI. So, man, before we get into it, I like to do a wellness check and just say, how have you been doing during the pandemic and staying safe?
Yeah, thanks for asking. It's really unique because our company here, ESGI, is a virtual company. So we've been working from home and through video and Slack and Zoom since the company was started many years ago. So on that level, things haven't changed, but we also travel a lot. We go out to classrooms, we go out to school districts, conferences where we meet teachers, and that's what is really different. And kind of miss that professionally is, it's okay to, do Zooms a lot, but you really miss that face-to-face contact with the teachers. And so doing that, and then personally as everybody, wow, it's quite an adjustment. I'm one of those active people. I like going to see I'm out here in the Bay Area, so Warrior games or the San Francisco Giants or a musical and always doing stuff. And wow, what a change. But, I think we're all dealing with it, and there is light at the end of the tunnel now. And if we can just, buckle down for the 2-3 months, maybe we'll all be in classrooms and fully teaching students, and everyone will be a little bit smiling a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. And as you talk about those classrooms, I want everybody to know the companies came later. You are an educator. I always will be, as they say. So can you give us a little bit of background on you and your roles in education, and then also slide into a little bit of background of how that turned into the companies you've managed?
Yeah. Thanks for asking that as well. Yeah, when I was in college, I just got really enamored with wanting to be a teacher. And some people around me said, "Why do you want to do that? Be a lawyer or something." I said, "No, I really love students." So I actually moved out from New York. I born in the Bronx, grew up in that part of the country, and filled up my Pinto and drove west to my first teaching assignment out in Mountain View, California. And I just loved every minute. I was teaching civics, and then eventually started teaching a little bit more algebra, all high school level, and computer science when it was becoming popular. And so really got into that. And then, as much as I loved teaching and being with students, I started getting into administration because I knew that I could have even a greater effect because I was really into curriculum and technology. Being out here in Silicon Valley, we're so fortunate that I thought, here's a lot of things that we can do for the school. And so, I became a director of curriculum, and then I was a principal and then president of a large private school. So did that leadership level for about 10 years and also enjoyed that. But one thing, while I was doing that, I always taught at least one class in high school because I wanted to be with the kids. I wanted to have that experience as a teacher. And so I loved doing that. But being an administrator gave me an opportunity to say, how can we take these programs to the next level? How can we make sure that every student is being challenged? And also, how can we use the unique benefits of the area in which we happen to be, which was Silicon Valley, take those benefits of our location and bring it to our students? And so I was blessed to have been 17 years in the classroom and at schools, loved every minute, and wasn't really even, the last day I was there, I had almost as much enthusiasm as the first day. It was just a wonderful time being an educator.
Man, that is awesome. And so you think about that and the companies that you led as far as the adaptive curriculum, the Harcourt and Pearson, and even to the SGI. So how did those skills transfer? Did it make it easier to go out and begin to sell and get into those schools, or was it a totally different world for you?
A little of each. The challenge for me was, how do you fit into a company, leaving education? But one thing I was committed to, I was going to stay working in education. Okay, I was going to stay being somehow related. I wasn't going to go try to help build better toasters or, something else like that. And so I knew that I had this sense of what works and what doesn't. And I'd been approached by many salespeople or companies over the years with software because we were, testing things. And I'm like, who designed this? These people have never been in the classroom before. They don't know what it's like to be with students. And I knew I could bring that. And so I was really fortunate. I started working at Pearson. They needed some teachers who could be, they called product managers, people who can go out to the field, see what the products were doing. And so that, combined with the administrative skills I already had as being a principal, very quickly I learned that, hey, I could take what I learned as an educator and be specific on how we could help kids, but then also help build that within a company. And so I became believe it or not, through the marketing side of the world, I grew up. I became VP of marketing over there at Computer Curriculum Corp, which was part of Pearson. And that's because marketing is not just about how you position things. It's about how do you understand the market, what teachers need, and how to build it and give the right specs. And so I've loved that, and I've been with a few different companies. And the last 6, I've been here at ESGI, and it's just been a great, great opportunity. The founder here had founded this company about 10 years ago, looking at a really simple thing. Is he was a kindergarten classroom teacher, and he's saying there has to be a better way to do assessment, because he's got piles and piles of paper and paper clips and check marks and red pens and green pens, and getting confused. And you go to a parent meeting and you got 3 pounds of stuff. And he said, there's technology, we have to use it. And so he built a really simple program, at least it appears that way, but underneath very complex, on how you can assess your students in the pre-K, first, second grade. And so they asked me to join about 6 years ago and bring some experience to build this company up. And it's just been wonderful. The product's great. The people are great. I love working with the teachers. So many great stories about how ESGI has made an impact in classrooms.
Man, and that was going to be the next question, and you kind of summed it up for me, because I am an administrator of first grade in my school, and so that is just understanding the importance of that early intervention and that persistent and consistent monitoring of their skills as we grow them. So, man, great answer to the question. I don't even need to ask it, man. So then I would say, moving on to TeachCon 2020. So as we focus on those early educators, I first want to say thank you. I was able to speak. And so,
yeah, we're thrilled to have you. You did a great job. I heard all the sessions.
Hey, thank you. For me, the engagement part for students as a special education student, as we talked a little before online, I worked in most of the time behavior units. So then these emotionally disturbed, a few times it was OHI. So really I had to be very creative, and if I wasn't creative with that engagement, we would have problems. But what is the reason behind bringing that conference to get the teachers together? And what was some of the feedback that you got from the educators who came in?
Yeah, we got hit hard just like everybody did in March with COVID, and from a business point of view, all of a sudden the people we dealt with every day that were calling their kids up to their desk and assessing couldn't do what they needed to do. And so we had to stop everything we were doing, stop what product releases we were going to have, and say, okay, how can we make a version that could be used at home through Zoom, or how can we make professional development to support that? And how can we stop trying to sell ESGI? People are not going to be buying ESGI in March, April, May. They either have it or not by now. So we did a pivot and we said, okay, what are the things that we can do as a company to support educators during this really challenging time? One was professional development, which is to build the kind of modules around our own product that would show you how to use it in this kind of hybrid or remote learning. And the other was, we just came up and, one of our social media experts was saying she's been pushing a conference for a while, and we all sat down and said, hey, this is the time. This is our way to give back to the community. Is we're not going to be selling a whole lot. So let's focus on giving back a free conference, not going to charge for it, get some of the best people that we know in this area, the experts, to come and present free professional development. So the teachers who are home and a little bit down sometimes or a little overworked can have this. And the best thing about it as being virtual was while we did release the sessions during the day, they could watch them at their own convenience. And anybody who is an ESGI subscriber has 12 months that they can revisit and listen to any of the sessions. So the real genesis of this idea was something we'd always kind of thought about, but it was actually in response to, hey, it's a different world now, and what can we do differently? So we took our marketing plans, we changed them completely, said, let's build a TeachCon, let's go out and get some software that does this, let's talk to all our fine friends like you to get them signed up to do some great inspirational speaking, and from that, it really took off, and we were thrilled. We had over 10,000 attendees, and just really excited, and now we're committed to doing this going forward.
That's it. First annual. That is awesome, man. So
That's
as
right.
we get ready to land the plane, I want you to go back to that administrator hat for real quick for me. So we got teachers going virtual, we got teachers going face to face, but we also got teachers going hybrid, and they are on the front line. What do you tell the staff? Words of encouragement for those who are tired and looking forward to this break, but also anxious about their return, as we'll be doing a lot of visiting, and asymptomatic could be an issue.
Yeah, that's a really good question. One thing, I'll give you a little context first. One thing that's been ironic in my career is I think I would be a better administrator after 10 years of being a CEO or being a management leader here. I've learned so many additional skills. And that's not to say that principals and superintendents are not well prepared, but just like I think people in business can learn a lot from teachers and principals, I think principals can learn from things that are happening in business. And so you had mentioned a word earlier, entrepreneurial. And I'm real big on the principal as an entrepreneur, kind of a different mindset on how you look at your school, how you look at your district. And that's where I think I am going to do more talking about this as I continue with podcasts and videos, because I can share both experiences, what it's like to run a school, what it's like to run a company, similarities but differences. And so when I'm looking at the school in a difficult situation, it's the same way I look at the company here. What is the challenge that we have? How are we going to tackle that? How are we going to kind of pivot from what we do? And so for me, it's all about people first, always people. What are my teachers feeling? What's the challenge? What's the obstacles? What's the hesitancy? Let's get together, over communicate. So it's all about that. And then to me, it's all about goal setting. Okay, whatever we were going to do, like just I said at ESGI, whatever we were going to do in Q2, Q3, we threw out the door. We pivoted. In the school, I'd say, hey, here's whatever our plans were for March, April, May, or here's the beginning of the school year. What are we going to do differently? What's our goals? Let's sit down and make 90-day goals. Let's not even think about January. If this was August, that's too far away. Look at 90-day goals. Say, how are we going to get through? What do you want to accomplish? Something that's attainable, that I can help support you. And then let's identify the resources to get that done. And so I think if we all step back and look at this as, okay, let's take this on as a challenge, but a collective challenge, and I'm here with you as the principal, listening to you, working with you, supporting with you, and realize that all those things that we were previously going to be held accountable for, we're not. We're going to set our own expectations. We're going to set our own guidelines here, and we're going to do what's reasonable. We're not going to burn anybody out. We're not going to ask you to get too far out of your comfort zone, but I'm going to hold your hand a little bit, because we are going to make you uncomfortable on some days as we teach you new things. And so I think that kind of looking at the vision of where we want to go and how we can get there, and just motivating people. I'm sure you've seen that, and you do that in what you do with your people.
Man, look, if there was never a sum up of everything that I've lived over the last few months, that was it, man. As we roll, we get a little uncomfortable, for the not too techie teachers. But like you say, you got to be right there too. Just today, I was out doing bus duty, so
Yeah.
it's just whatever it takes, right? Man,
Exactly.
I appreciate that. So as we go, what's next for you? And what's next for ESGI?
Yeah, the cool thing about ESGI is we keep thinking about how can we help support the unique challenges of the elementary school teacher. And so we're thinking about, okay, what more can we do, like for administrators, what better administrative experience, reports you can look at to see where your teachers are struggling, where they may need some support. We're looking at, again, strengthening the way that you could work remotely, because what we've learned is, while we all hope to be back in the classroom in the future, there are always times where you have students, away for extended periods of time, and what we can do in those areas. And so I think we're looking at that. And I think we're looking at what can we do, particularly in the areas of special ed, RTI, ELL, to use our platform where you can do observational assessment with these students, sit down one-on-one. And so I think there's so many exciting avenues that we can build on the platform that we have, and just the goodwill we have with teachers. And that's why what I miss the most, again, is talking to teachers who have all these great ideas and keep saying, can you do this? Can you do that? And I keep listening and absorbing all that. And we're talking about, hey, how can we build plans over the next couple of years to make those kind of products and put them in the hands of the teachers?
Very important. Like, hey, it's all about moving forward, man. It sounds like y'all got a good plan over there at
That's right.
ESGI.
That's
All right,
right.
so can you drop the website? Let's say we getting ready, we want to get them locked in, subscribed, so they can be a part of TeachCon
Yeah.
2021. Can you give everything for us?
Yeah, yeah. Our company name is ESGI, and the URL is esgisoftware.com. Okay, and once you go over there, first of all, on the product side, you can click on the free trial button. It's right in the front there on the home page. It's in the nav bar on every page. Can't miss it. And everybody gets a 60-day free trial. They really try it out and see what it's like, and that's great. And then, of course, once we start settling some dates for the TeachCon 21, it'll be up there in bold on the front page, and you can sign up, and it'll be free for any of your listeners.
Hey, there we go. I sure appreciate everything today, Mr. Bowler. It was great talking to you. Enjoy it, man. You're in Silicon Valley, man. It looks, if that's the window in the back, it looks pretty out there today.
It's nice out. That's nice. I was real fortunate, and that's what we say sometimes, to the people given the most, you have the most responsibility, right?
Hey,
And
that's
so
it.
it's our responsibility to try to. I've always thought, how can we make a difference in education with the technology that we're gifted with?
That's it, man. Well, I appreciate it, and I look forward to sharing this. And I will be in touch. I'll see you soon, man.
Great. Thank you.
All
Appreciate the
right.
invite.
Thank you, Mr. Bowler. You have a good one.
Bye now.
All right. This is KT for KTTV signing out. 100.